So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also, you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you. The House passed an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act to push government officials to report instances of white supremacy among the military and law enforcement ranks. Representative Brad Snyder, who sponsored the bill's measure, made it through with a 218 to 208 party line vote that saw every House Republican vote against it. 20% of participants arrested for involvement in January 6 Capitol riots are military veterans. A routineers investigation also found a high number of police instructors have ties to right-wing militia and white supremacist hate groups. This amendment will require the FBI Director, Department of Homeland Security, and the Secretary of Defense to publish a report analyzing white supremacist and neo-Nazi activity within their ranks and present ways to root it out of the respective organizations. It also calls for a number of count of people who are discharged due to white supremacist activity and requires the government to create a report showing ways how to combat neo-Nazism within these career choices. There will be a 180-day deadline for this to be completed and submitted to congressional committees. Unclassified portions would also be made public. Representative Snyder spoke about the increase in domestic terrorism in the United States and how this resolution will be one way to see how bad it is. Quote, "This bill helps to do that in a simple way, in an effective way. It's not complicated. It simply adds a tool to the tool belt of law enforcement all across the country, regardless of their size or location, to be used voluntarily." Representative Andy Briggs, a Republican of Arizona, known for his election meddling efforts, and one of the 23 Republicans who voted against the anti-bigotry resolution in 2019, claimed that the measure denigrates law enforcement personnel. Quote, "This amendment attempts to create a problem where none exist by requesting investigations into law enforcement and the armed services for alleged ramped white supremacist or white national sympathies." Representative Liz Cheney, Republican, Wyoming, currently on the January 6th House Select Committee, also voted against the amendment despite everything she's seen in the investigation. After the full NDAA passes this week, the House and Senate will conference. At that point, this resolution can still be taken out. This is when I start hitting my 3 strike mark. So you already heard that the House, or the people that are right, they decided to vote against it because they didn't want to make an inquiry about their own people, because some of them in government are part of those same affiliations. So therefore, if they did that, they would also in a sense implicate themselves as being a part of that, because they are also working in tandem with those exact same individuals along with those groups, probably also dealing with some trafficking, money laundering, drugs, guns, and a variety of other things, right? So that's one. And then a previous story that I did before, which is at the lower right hand corner, which is the United States and Ukraine, the only 2 countries to vote against a UN resolution to condemn Nazism. I think also Canada was up there as well. I'm not sure. I would actually have to, go back and listen to that video, but I know I did mention Canada somewhere in that video. Then you have the one that's above it on the right, which showcases a couple of images there. I had to blur out some stuff due to the fact of YouTube and how sensitive it is. It says that Ukraine's neo-Nazi Azov battalion attempts rebranding. So for those out there that want to try to figure out, oh, does the Ukraine have a Nazi problem, a race problem? And yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. It's been stated a multitude of times, but yet nobody wanted to pay attention. So if you want to really understand the United States, understand the people that they support. Who is the United States supporting? They're supporting the Ukraine. How is the United States supporting the Ukraine? Let's look to the left side. How much money has the United States sent to the Ukraine? The United States has sent more than $54 billion to the Ukraine since the war began. Weapons and other supplies, 12.5 billion. Economic support, 9.4 billion. United States military deployment and intelligence, 9 billion. Food assistance, healthcare and other aid, 7 billion. Military and security assistance, 6 billion. Grants and loans for military supplies, 4.7 billion. Migration and refugee assistance, 1.8 billion. Other foreign aid, 1.5 billion. Assistance for Europe, Eurasia, and Central Asia, 1.1 billion. Administration for children, 0.9 billion. Diplomatic programs and others, 0.5 billion. Enforcing sanctions, 0.3 billion. Now, if you realistically look at all of this money, just think about how much of this could have further been put into stimulus, right? Giving the American people a stimulus package or different things of that nature. Just think about how this could have been used to, I guess, further deal with the infrastructure of America, to further deal with the educational system when it came to America. Just think about that for a minute. America is willing to give all of this free money directly to a whole nother group of people versus their own citizens. And pay attention to how whenever things take place and whenever Americans need money, what happens? The government is like, oh, well, you guys just need to get back to work. You guys need to do this. You guys need to do that. But like I said before, pay attention. These are the same people that even during the pandemic, they weren't taking pay cuts. They were getting their exact same paycheck and they were continuously getting paid while everybody else was broke, while everybody else was destitute, while people were losing their homes, losing their apartments, losing their cars, while people weren't able to afford bread and soup, while people were going through hell and high water trying to deal with what was taking place for the last 2 years. The government did not realistically want to help. The government did everything else but realistically try to help. And even when they did help, they were like, okay, see what we did? We gave you some checks and I'll say thank you. When realistically, the people don't work for the government works for the people. Because all of that money that they're, using, that they're toying with, that they're playing with, that's American people's money. Those are your tax dollars at work, feeding, housing, clothing, educating, giving health benefits, relocating, giving safety to a whole nother group of people that are not even a part of America. Pay attention. They'll treat other people who are not American like this by giving them free money without technically expecting anything in return. But then when it comes to the American people, you already seen how that goes. So like I said before, this is pretty much 3 strikes. There's actually more than 3 strikes. I went a little bit light, but there's actually way more. You can probably just add it up to 10. But like I said, at the end of the day, this is America. And if you want to know about America, look at who they support.